Hello and welcome to People in Profit. I'm Pellegrin. Coming up this week. Leaving old wood stoves behind in order to switch to cleaner alternatives. We'll see what it'll take to bring clean cooking to Africa and thereby reduce premature deaths as well as carbon emissions. If you build it, they will come. We'll see what the Gulf region's first craft brewery could mean for a region looking to build up its tourism sector and reduce its reliance on its fossil fuel industry. And a Scandinavian success story. We'll find out what has turned Sweden's boutique gaming sector into a global powerhouse. Well, at first sight, the issue might seem trivial, but it's what prompted delegates from over 60 countries to meet for a summit in Paris this month. The issue is clean cooking in Africa, where a large majority of households use rudimentary heating systems, often fueled by wood fire, animal manure, or agricultural waste, which could be responsible for the premature death of some 500,000 women and children every year due to respiratory illnesses. Moreover, Africa transitioning to cleaner cooking could lead to sizable reductions in carbon emissions. Let's listen in to Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan speaking at the summit.
Africa, the continent with the highest population growth rates and with all necessary natural resources, ranks the least in access to clean cooking. Over 900 million Africans rely on unclean cooking solutions, a fact which contributes to environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, and the health hazards.
Well, for more on this, let's speak to Jillene Connors Belopolsky, who's Chief of Staff and Chief External Affairs Officer at the Clean Cooking Alliance nonprofit, which brings together the different players in the clean cooking sector and who was at that summit. Thank you for being with us on People in Profit. I want to start by talking about the different solutions that are available to move to clean cooking. No matter what these solutions are, there's a price problem where a lot of the households on the continent don't necessarily have the means to afford them. What can be done to help these households?
Yes, absolutely. We're very lucky that this is a problem that we can solve with the current technology and fuels that we have available to us. These range from high efficiency improved biomass stoves that reduce the amount of wood and charcoal that customers are using, from biogas systems for farmers, all the way through to bioethanol, LPG, and electric cooking devices. And these are becoming increasingly more accessible and affordable for consumers through a range of business model and consumer financing innovations. So for example, pay-as-you-cook models are allowing customers to be able to access cleaner fuels like ethanol, LPG, and electric cooking devices by paying incrementally for the amount of fuel they're using each time they cook. That can be purchasing a week's worth of fuel, a day's worth, or even one meal at a time that allows customers to avoid the upfront costs of larger fuel purchasing that has been a barrier to adopting these technologies. We're also seeing innovations like smart meters that allow consumers to understand and see the amount of energy they're using to manage their budgets and know when they need to add more or top up.
I was also reading that there's sometimes can be reticence on the parts of some individuals to switch to cleaner cooking methods because the older methods are what they know, but also, a fire provides heat, it provides light at nighttime. How do you deal with these, trying to encourage people to change their habits?
I mean, the most important thing is knowing your consumer, knowing your customer, and being able to provide a range of solutions that they have choice from. Where we see lack of adoption or reticence for adoption, it's very often a mismatch in the solution for the customer's needs. So with Clean Cooking Solutions, we have this full set of technologies and fuels and different types of options that people really should have the choice from. And when you develop projects and programs that match ones appropriately, we see no reticence to adoption, and you have much higher rates of sustained use.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about another aspect here, women being disproportionately affected by the ill effects of traditional cooking methods with regards to respiratory diseases. Beyond these crucial health issues, how else would women benefit from moving to cleaner cooking methods?
Absolutely. We hear the statistics all the time of women being disproportionately affected by lack of access, but women really are the drivers of clean cooking adoption, and they are the main contributors and change agents of ensuring that clean cooking transitions happen in their communities and across their countries. Women, in addition to time savings and the health benefits, access to clean cooking fuels unlocks opportunities for education, for employment. We do a lot of work with women street vendors, for example, who are earning a living off of cooking food, and being able to access affordable and efficient fuels and appliances has enhanced their business and income generating opportunities.
How much money would it take to make cooking in Africa clean by 2030? The conclusion of the summit is that $2.2 billion were pledged at the summit in Paris. Does this go far enough?
It's a start, but it's not far enough. Clean cooking has historically been the most underfunded health and environmental challenge in the world. It's estimated that in Africa alone, we need investment of $4 billion a year between now and 2030 to reach universal access. So the 2.2 is a fantastic start. We now need to add to that, and we need to ensure that those funding commitments are turned into concrete dollars on the ground for real projects and programs that are reaching every set of the market.
Are there any untapped reservoirs of finances that could be the next sort of goal to reach towards?
I think we're really equal opportunity there. There's an enormous capital stack that is relatively untapped. Historically, clean cooking has received 1% of the funding that's required. So we need large amounts of public financing, blended financing. We need philanthropic donors. We need private sector investment all along the clean cooking value chain.
Jillene Connors Belopolsky, I'm sorry, this is all the time we have, but thank you so much for being with us on People and Profit.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the United Arab Emirates, a conservative, traditional Muslim society with vast wealth built on fossil fuel exports. But as climate change pushes nations to a global green energy transition, the coalition of city-states is seeking to diversify its economy, with tourism a major part of the equation. That means a loosening of some cultural restrictions aimed at making Western visitors feel more welcome, in particular when it comes to alcohol. Brian Quinn takes a look at the Persian Gulf's first ever craft brewery in this report.
A gentle cascade of foam settling in a hand-pulled cask ale, a sight well familiar in the UK, much less so on the Arabian Peninsula. This craft beer hall in Abu Dhabi is the first of its kind and the only licensed microbrewery in a region whose alcohol policies are nearly as dry as its climate.
The challenges are just getting the ingredients because we're the first to ever do it here. There's not many suppliers that you can get the malted barley, the yeast, the hops from.
90% of the UAE's 10 million inhabitants are foreigners. As the Emirates seek to diversify their economies away from a reliance on oil and gas, tourism is gaining in importance and alcohol laws are loosening. Last year, party hub Dubai ditched a 30% tax on alcohol and scrapped the charges on permits that allow foreigners to shop at its licensed booze stores. When brewery owner Chad McGee founded his company in 2019, beer had to be imported. In 2021, though, Abu Dhabi became the only emirate to allow bars to brew on site.
We hope that can make Abu Dhabi, a destination people come to for beer, like you do Germany, like you do New York, like you do, San Diego in the United States. Cities that are famous, have famous breweries. We want to be part of that.
Abu Dhabi brought in 24 million tourists in 2023. It's aiming for 40 million a year by the end of the decade.
With hits like Minecraft, Valheim, and Raft, small teams from Sweden have produced more video game hits than one would expect from a country with a population of 10 million. The industry there is growing. It reported a 3.1 billion euro revenue in 2022, 13% more than the previous year. Small studios are very much helping shape that landscape. Camille Knight has this.
So now we're going to try finding something scary to get on film for you guys.
Get famous or die trying. It's the premise of Landfall's new horror video game, Content Warning. Players become content creators venturing to abandoned factories to record murderous monsters. The scarier the shot, the bigger the profits as they compete for views on SpookTube. The small Swedish game studio didn't invest in any advertising, but told people the game would be free for one day. To their surprise, over 6 million people jumped at the offer in the first 24 hours.
Immediately, we realized that, I think it might be pretty big, and it kind of didn't slow down.
The studio is housed here, in a quiet suburb west of Stockholm, and only has 10 employees, something they believe gives them an advantage compared to bigger studios.
I think that smaller teams can work and move really fast, because usually there's quite low friction in like how things are communicated or decision making.
Content warning is only the latest example of small Swedish teams finding huge success. Sweden is ranked as the third largest hub for gaming studios in Europe. Landfall's co-founder says it's down to the culture and the weather.
You don't really have nothing to do outside. It's snow, cold, stay home, drink some coffee, play some games, make some games.
Sweden's rich history in gaming has solidified its place on the games industry radar. Viking-themed Valheim, released by small Swedish studio Irongate in 2021, sold over 12 million copies. The most famous example is, of course, Minecraft, which was first developed by Marcus Persson alone. With more than 300 million units sold, it's become the best-selling video game in history.
That's all we have time for this week. Feel free to reach out to us with your thoughts and questions on social media. And if you want to watch or listen to our previous editions, you can look up People and Profit on the France 24 website or on the podcast platform of your choice. In the meantime, thank you for watching and stay tuned to France 24.